Hello and welcome to Why I Love Warhammer, the series where I go on a bit of a ramble about why I love something in this hobby. This episode is going to be orcs, because they are incredibly fun and how can you not love them? Um, so lore-wise, the orcs are really fun with the whole power of belief thing that they've got going on. The fact that the more orcs believe something, the more true it is. So red things go faster, or purple things are sneaky. That's just something that I find incredible, and it's just really fun to play around with. And even though the memes might exaggerate it a little bit, it's still a part of their lore. It's still something fascinating to me. The gods being Gork and Mork, who are kind of incompetent with each other, but they're just like interesting gods, and I love that they are functionally fungi. I mean, they're not literally mushrooms. There's a bit more complexity to it than that, but they're fungal creatures, and that to me is really interesting. I love how if you were to shoot one up, it spores up, and then you get more orcs. It means that, at least in my personal headcanon, at the end of the setting, it's just a bunch of orcs fighting each other and loving it. Orcs are enjoying themselves. And also, from a kind of meta standpoint, I've never met an orc player who wasn't a lovely person. My stereotype of orc players is that they're nice people. Every orc player I've ever come across has been really friendly. And in fairness, I've not met many I've not met many people who in this hobby who've kind of gotten on my nerves, but orc players somehow are specifically lovely. That's my stereotype of them. So with that, talk about the two physical orc models I own, and then I'll get into talking about the bulk of the army. I own two physical orc models. Red Gobbo on Bouncer, because I love Gobbo, I love his stories, and I love Squigs. And the other one I own is Dagoth Rocker. I love the little Squig speaker. Generally speaking, there aren't many models that I find aren't improved by the addition of a squig. They're cute, they're scary, they're cool, and they've got the same fungus thing going on the rest of the orcs do. The main... I keep calling those two the physical models I own, because with the whole thing of purple orcs are sneaky, because have you ever seen a purple orc? I do have about 130 bases where I've put little purple footprints on as the representation of a purple orc army. It was 2,000 points in 9th edition. It's not actually game legal anymore, so I don't really have an orc army anymore. But I still love the faction. The orc... before I get into the orc boys, I generally find that there's a kind of triangle of ways to play orcs, and you can kind of play any point within the triangle, but there are kind of three extremes. The first extreme is this one here, which is the boys, the infantry with characters, the boys spam. Boys, knobs, mega knobs, have all got fun names. They talk like football hooligans. It's hilarious to me. I love this kit. This is the older boys kit, where they've got their choppers and their shooters. I love how I've got one over here on the left who's kind of serious and determined. One back here is a bit derpy, a bit gormless, but generally quite fun. This guy over here is a bit gruff. They're just fun models. I also do like the newer kit that they did for the boys, although there are people who have gone into a lot of detail about why the old kit is probably the more consumer-friendly kit, and I'm very happy that both are still for sale. I'm always in favour of consumer choice, and the fact that both versions of the Orc Boys kit are still up for sale at time of recording, which is the 23rd of October 2023, that's something that is really nice, and that choice is really important. I love the characters. This guy who's got hair I can only dream of and a fantastic beard, and both of which seem to be stapled onto his head. But I love this guy's pose, Zod Grod Wartsnagger. He's kind of sneaking around, but he's got his shooter with the needle. He's got this really cool claw. I love the claws the orcs have, this kind of aesthetic of them. And I like how they repair themselves. This guy's got this kind of mechanical leg. It's just a really fun thing, and he's just a really cool looking model. I love the pose, I love the backpack. Gazal Mag Ur Ther, one of the greatest ones. I love the thing in the lore about how his head got cut off and then it just grew back. That's brilliant to me. I love how chunky he is. Like, is he the size of a dreadnought? Bigger dreadnought. But I love that suit. I love this bigger claw. I love this quad gun with the chain feeding. I love his expression. He's screaming, wow, you just know it. I love this skull backpack with the cables that are feeding into his weapons as if they're like powering a bit further. I love his little gobbo sidekick with the big side and that evil expression on his face. I always like the name Gazal Mag Ur Ther because I once heard that it was a reference to Mag Thatcher, and that kind of satire of 80s Britain with football hooligans and Margaret Thatcher is something that always piques an interested eyebrow if I talk to someone who's asked me about 40k as a setting. And so that's a fun one. And he's just a really cool looking model. But that's kind of one corner of the triangle, right? The one corner of the triangle is this kind of heroes with boys spam. Second corner of the triangle would be vehicles, the Gorkanaut and the Morkanaut. I love these things. I love their faces. I love their shapes, the silhouettes. I love that triangular bit on the front. I love this little sneaky guy back here who's piloting it. The claw, the guns. And they're bigger than you expect. I always imagine them being about yay big. They're chunky things. They're huge. And I love the idea of two of them, one on each side, just kind of pincer movement down the field. I think that's a really cool aesthetic. It's a really cool image, and you can imagine if you were just some random Imperial Guardsman that it would be really scary. I love this aesthetic. I love everything else. I love these faces. They're scary. I like how they are references to Gor Ur Moran, the gods. They're just a really cool looking model. Of course, that's not it for vehicles. They've got these bikers. I love these bikes. I love the ramshackle appearance of orc vehicles. Like, I love how they've got the rubber tires, but they've got the metal plates on them too. Got this guy here with a big claw. He's just gormlessly holding it up to the sky. There's a gobbo behind who's kind of clinging on for dear life. These two have the improvised weaponry. I love the ramshackle nature of the bikes, and I love how the different clans of the orcs have the different colour schemes that you can really make them your own. The shock jump dragster. I love this one. It looks like a micro machine. If you ask a small child to draw a race car, and then you ask like a 12-year-old to make it a war vehicle, it's got the guns, it's got the engine thing, it's got the spoiler, this thing here, it's got wheels with spikes on it, exposed engine, two pilots, missiles, it's got a squig here who's helping to aim stuff. It's a glorious vehicle, and I'd love to see these on the field just racing down. There's something so cool about the vehicles, and this one in particular. The Mega Jump, the Mega Track Scrapjet, this kind of plane engine that they've kind of converted together. So it's got drill, it's got the gun, it's got tires and the caterpillar tracks. This is an amazing vehicle. I love the dude inside. He's smiling. He's having a whale of a time. Orcs are loving life. And this guy's got the classic pilot jacket, classic pilot goggles, like he's straight out of the First World War. This is a brilliant vehicle to me, and it's just really good fun. These rockets. It's a vehicle for someone loving life. And it's just so true to the orc vehicles. But this isn't my favourite vehicle. This is my favourite vehicle, the Stomper. This thing is huge. I love Chaos Knights and Imperial Knights, so they're big chunky guys. The Orc Stomper is on par with Knights, but he's chunky, he's wide, and he's ramshackle. He's got these awesome looking feet, he's moving about, this giant thing with a face in the middle, on this skirt, face in the top, these exhaust pipes. He's got a whole crew manning him. This awesome looking gun here, this chainsword. I just love them, and they are so wonderful. To me, they are everything that orcs are about. They are, they're ramshackle, they're big, they're fun, they're interesting. It's beautiful to me. This might be one of my favourite vehicles in the setting. Definitely my favourite vehicle in the orcs. So, that's two corners of the triangle. What's the third triangle? What's the third point of the triangle? To which the answer seems to be, well, what if you wanted to play a more fantasy race in 40k? What if you like the Age of Sigmar aesthetic, or the Middle Earth, or the Blood Bowl aesthetic, but all your friends are playing 40k? Well, that is where you get the Beast Snaggers. Beast boss on Squigosaur. I love this guy. Look at the Moor on the Squig. He's well looked after. He's got, his legs can't come off and it's been replaced. He's got a gun, a small shooter here, and a big chopper. This guy is a sword-wielding dude, and he's wearing the fur. He's got this jaw replacement. Look at the Moor on this Squig. That's such a cool one. He's drooling. I love this thing. But it's not just the Beast Boss on Squigosaur that's really fun. The Squig Hog boys. I love Squigs. I think these ones are really cute. Look at the wheels. Look at the faces. Look at these things. Look at that plate, because he's been headbutting so much. They want to look after him a bit more. The primitive weaponry. These guys are tribal orcs on Squigs that are running about and rolling about. And it's such a wonderful image. And I love the idea of them roaming about and dashing up and down the field. They're just a really fun aesthetic. Mosrog Scragband, this shark-like steed. Again, he's got the leg. I love his pose. He's got one arm out as kind of with the weapon, but his arm is leaning against the saddle, and he's got a really smug look on his face as to say, "Yeah, boys are here. We gonna win. Green is best. Orcs is best." This is such a fun model that it's just impossible to not just gaze at. And look at that gun, that classic-looking gun, and the shark-like pattern on this paint job on Mosrag. It's so wonderful. And then if you don't want to have a big squig, you can have this guy, the Beast Boss, with this squig on the shoulder pad with a little reticule here to aim. He's got this claw that's got a skull on it, and he's got the big chopper over there. It's a really cool medieval-looking thing. It's a really beautiful-looking sculpt to me. The furs, be such a fun challenge to paint this guy up. But then the Gretchen aren't their own point in the triangle. I just think they're really fun. They're small, they're conniving, they're funny. They bring a levity to wherever orcs are present. And I think that levity really kind of sums it up. And it's why I love orcs in 40k. They're fun. I've never met an orc player who wasn't fun. I've heard stories about orc players, doing wars and running around tournaments. There's just so much about the orcs that's so enjoyable that I don't know how anyone could not love them. Anyway, that's why I love orcs. They're fun. If you enjoy this kind of content, you enjoy this relentless, positivity of loving stuff in 40k, please feel free to drop me a subscribe and a like. If you want to leave a comment, stuff you think is fun in 40k. And any other ideas? Do you like do you like the orcs? Do you not like the orcs? If you don't, why not? And if you do, share why you do. And if you want to drop me a subscribe and a like, that'd be really lovely. And if you know anyone who would like to see more of this, feel free to link them the videos, share this about. And I've got my standard link in the description for stuff. And I hope you have a really good day. See ya.